Oh hey y'all, how's it going? Fatty here, and today I'm going to bring you the top 6 ways to get blueprints going through almost every map. Now this is just going to be a pretty quick, brief overguide of the different ways and a little bit of the tricks and tactics of how to do it. If you guys would like a more in-depth detail where you guys know exact spawn locations, drops, or strategies and stuff like that, leave a comment down below with what map that you actually want to see that on, and let's not waste any more of your time and just jump straight into it. Coming in at number 6, this one's going to be located at 27.2, 61.8. Now this is actually going to be the surface drops on Aberration. This is just going to be the coordinates to get to the surface because a lot of people get confused on that, and even when I was recording this video I had to kind of look it up because I really do not like this method. So this order is going to go from number 6, which is going to be the least, the worst way in my opinion, to the best way. Now there's going to be a couple different factors on that, whether it's, really heavily occupied or contested a lot by people, if it's overused, overran, the drop quality, how hard it is to get to it, all that good stuff. So this one is at the bottom because it is kind of difficult just because you have to make it there, and then you have reapers that you have to deal with, as well as like the nameless, different stuff like that. The temperatures can get scorching hot, as well as the evenings can get really cold as well. So it just makes it kind of more of a difficult one to actually do. As well as the drop quality in this one is not great. A lot of people say it is better than doing just the regular drops that look like that on different maps, but in my opinion its quality is only going to be slightly better. And when I say slightly, I just mean slightly. It's not really that well worth it. Maybe I've just had really bad luck running these drops. It's not really well contested though, so it is one of those ones that if you get a Bloodstalker, you can really just kind of whip through, kind of like I'm just flying around, just kind of whip through with your Bloodstalker. When you see a drop, spawn down, just go to it really quick, hop off your Bloodstalker, grab it, and then go. But it's just, like I said, not really recommended, so let's just move on to the number 5. So these next two are going to be located at the island, and this first one is going to be located at 45.5, 90.0, and this is going to be the Caverns of Lost Hope. Now, both of these ones on the island are, again, not the greatest. There's not a ton of actual blueprint locations within the cave. Now, if you guys want a more in-depth of exactly where those are and stuff like that, let me know down in the comments below that you want that on the island. But for this one, there isn't really a ton, like I said, within the cave, so it just doesn't make it as well worth your time if you're going to go for underwater drops like this as you could on other maps, as well as it just is really heavily filled with PvE, right? There's just... you go to the Crystal Isles one, it's filled with PvE, this one's filled with more. So also you have this other one on the island, it's 53.7, 10.4. This one's kind of located on the opposite side of the map, kind of between blue and red ob, right on the edge of the winter biome. And this one is a little bit easier. It's not quite as heavily dense with PvE, but again, you just don't have a ton of drops within it. So, you could spend an hour going through and maybe only collect 15 drops, where you could do it on Crystal Isles or some of those other maps, and that amount of time that you get those drops, or the amount of drops you get in with that, the amount of drops you get within that hour is going to be drastically different. So this one is pretty and it's cool and it's not super compacted, but again, just not the best one. This next one is going to be located on the center at 0.99, 68.7. Now this one's going to be the same kind of deal. It's the cave drops, and it's going to be the lava cave on the center. Now I do like this one because it's just a little bit easier. If you have a Pteranodon or if you have a Bloodstalker, you can just kind of soar over these guys. And there's a few in here. It just makes it kind of easy. There's nothing too crazy that you can't really deal with. Anything that's PvE, right? You can kind of lead over the edge into the lava and let it just kind of die on its own. So you don't even really have to stress about that too much, as well as there's just, it's just not so super crazy. I also really like the aesthetic of here. It's just kind of a cool one to go through. It's not the greatest, not the worst. I personally have tended to get better loot in this one than I did on the island, or like I said, on the Aberration drops. So this is why this one tends to be a little bit higher up on the list. Sometimes people build in here, not very often, but it's also not just done very often. You're not going to constantly countered, right, by doing this one like you will with some of the other ones on the list. So this one is just, if you're a little bit newer of a player, if you don't want to PvP and you don't really want to deal with crazy amounts of PvE, this one's probably going to be one of the best ones for you, because all you really need to do is get a Bloodstalker. And with them being on Gen 2 and Gen 1, they're really easy to get, so they're probably one of the easiest beginner flyers you can get. And depending if you're on a server that allows cave flyers, right, then you can bring a Pteranodon in here. I don't think you normally can bring a Pteranodon in here. Sorry, I'm not an official player, but yeah, anyways, It's just a pretty good one. I highly recommend this one, but let's move on to the last 3 of the list. Coming in at that number 3, this one's going to be on Ragnarok, and it is going to be the most basic, common loot dropping kind of method. It's a good method. It won't drop you common stuff. But, jazz hands on that rock golem. It's so basic. Everyone does lava golem, right? It's like, hey, let's go blueprint hunting. We need a team. What are we going to do? Lava golem. Like, oh, okay, of course. Solo people do it. Squads do it. You get a lot of different good loot, right? Lava golem's filled with it. There's these 3 or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 drops that spawn in here. It's a good one. It's fine. It's true, tried and true. It's well tested. It's fine. The next one is going to be the Ice Queen. It's going to be not as good just because the Ice Queen herself doesn't drop that massive amount of loot. You only get the 3 little loot crates beside it. But also the Ice Queen is a ton easier. It just also isn't very contested, right? You go to Lava Golem, people are always at Lava Golem. They're waiting for that time where they're kind of camping it. It can just be a little bit more tedious to actually have to go through all those steps. So if you don't want to PvP and you just kind of want to go through it, I'd recommend Lava Queen over Rock Golem. If you're not a PvP Bob and you can handle yourself just a little bit, go to Rock Golem. You're going to get more, so it's going to be more worth your time. But, hey, to each his their own. Coming in at number 2, this one is going to be located on Crystal Isles. This is going to be 2 different parts on Crystal Isles. The first one is going to be the underwater drops, and this is going to be at 28.5, 56.0. Now there is this huge, long cave tunnel system. I'm not going to show it all through this video. This is just one of the entrances, but this is probably one of the best methods if you just want to kind of be chill about going through it. If you get an Ichthy that has at least 125% movement speed, which is not that hard to level into it, it's 25 levels on an official one, you can just blow past anything in here really easily. So you get yourself, some scuba, a Lazarus chowder, anything like that, and you're just going to soar through these drops like none other. And I have gotten some of the best BPs I've ever gotten through this underwater cave in particular. I know on small tribes, between this one and the one I'm going to show you that's above land, I got at least a capped Giga and a capped Woolly Rhino saddle on small tribes official from that, so it is really good. Beyond that, if you guys go to this winter part of the biome on the top right hand corner, there are going to be up to 6 of these cave drops that are going to spawn on the surface. Here is just one. If you guys would like a more in-depth detailed video about the cave system and this part up here, exactly where the drops spawn, the fastest way just to kind of circle through them, stuff like that, please leave a comment down below saying Crystal Isles so I know that this is the one you particularly want the most, and I will get on that video next. Do you guys need some new fashion? Do you need something that says, hey, eat me, but with some bright colors? Well, come on down to ripdieco.com. This is going to be our personal merch shop as well as just our little side hustle. I've got a ton of cool t-shirts as well as Jack Skellington, as well as pentagrams, a little, not cucumber, what am I trying to think of? Eggplant that says eat me. We got some really fun, great ones. Come check it out and it really helps support the channel. And let's move on to the final one on this list. Coming in at number 1, this one is going to be on Extinction, and yes, it is going to be OSDs. I have done several different blueprint hunting methods, and the best way to get every kind of blueprint, including like Volanosaurs, Gigas, Magnumers, anything like that, is going to be OSDs. OSDs are by far the best, by the best way to get a ton of resources, a ton of blueprints, everything you need, including tech. It is by far the easiest one. Now, there are some caveats, right? You definitely are going to need a 4-man team of Gigas if you're going to go for those cap blueprints, right? If you want to go for purple OSDs, or even maybe if you want to go for a red one, you could probably pull it off with 2 people in Gigas if they're mate boosted and you guys coordinate well. Or even some of the lower ones. I was able to do a yellow one with a mana and get some pretty decent blueprints. So it's not only going to be, these massive Giga on Giga fights trying to get this. You can definitely do it with just a mana, keep it low key. I would only do the blues or yellows with a mana. I wouldn't go any higher than that, and then anything else like that, you're going to need a team. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys want individual map ones, I'm planning on doing that, but let me know which one you want to see first, and I'll hop on that. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.